There it is. Waiting for the spinning circle to stop spinning. Okay, I'm good. So hello again. I'm here for my weekly Saturday stream. I do want to. I have had a problem. You can see it at the beginning of all my streams where I don't know exactly when it starts. So I need to do that thing where you have something playing before the stream for people to look at. And actually just have a switch there or something like that. But to do that, I need to update my stream setup, which I have not even touched. I've got like the bare minimum. I just threw up my avatar with a green screen, and that's pretty much it. So I want to. I think today, actually, after this stream, I won't stream it, but after the stream, I'll work on updating my streaming setup to hopefully make it better. Because like right now, one of the things I was just thinking about was that I've got like my code here. And this is not very nice to look at on the stream, especially because like for me, I can see better when I'm zoomed out, but for you guys, you would want to be like zoomed in maybe this far or even further. So what I want to do with that is actually just, I guess, make a plugin for VS Code that will put out some status updates as to what I am doing in VS Code, and then I can, in my own render basically what I'm doing and put it up onto like a stream overlay or something, so you don't have to directly look at VS Code, which will make things hopefully look a lot nicer and easier for you guys to follow. Anyways, back to Pixkartz. We finished Frosty Iceberg, so we now have 6 maps. I'll do a quick run through of Frosty Iceberg, and then I'll start on the new track, which will be a circuit track. It'll probably be one of the simplest ones to make. Frosty Iceberg was a pain because I had to add the ice, and the colors were kind of a pain to figure out. Penguins. But yeah, so this is Frosty Iceberg. You can see my cursor on the screen. Oops. I'll try and take the shortcut. It's hard to do on the fish, I think. Oh, I almost made it. I just went off a little bit because of the ice being slippery. I think, yeah, at some point I'm gonna have to add like a sound effect for the ice. You know how Mario Kart has that, I guess, the high frequency noise sound when you're on the ice. It sounds kind of... It really doesn't sound like ice. It's just what we're made to think ice sounds like, I guess. But yeah, so this is Frosty Iceberg. Next up is gonna be... whatchamacallit. Oh, that's a problem. I haven't thought of the name yet. So the first step, well, you could say the first step is the name, or it could be the layout. So what I want to do today is I want to do the layout of the map, and then actually make it so that the map loads in and we can drive on it. And so this is I guess the most fun part about making the tracks is when you just draw the rough sketch and everything just works. The less fun part is when you have to do all the artwork and place all the tiles and everything. That's still fun though, don't get me wrong. All right, next playtest one. Hang on. I'm thinking, oops, I forgot my streaming settings were wrong. Hang on. Can I not adjust this live? Okay, that's gonna be rough. I downgraded my stream output quality because, yeah, wait, can I show that? Yeah. Wait, can I change this live? Let's see. Warning, recordings cannot be paused if recording quality is set to same as stream. Is this stuff about recordings? can I just randomly change the bit rate to 3800? I forgot my bit rate was kind of low, so the quality is going to be very low on your end. Why is the audio bit rate 160? That's concerning. Can you guys hear me? That... oh, is that normal? How do you... Is that... What are the units on that? Okay. Anyways, let's see what happens if I do this. Hopefully the stream doesn't turn off. Is that... I don't know if that worked. It worked on my end. I don't know if you guys can still see. I'm gonna double check the stream quality. That was... So what happened was I was trying to record some stuff before and my computer couldn't handle it, so I had to turn down the bit rate. And then I forgot to turn it back up for the live stream. So I gotta double check on my end to see if this is good. So you might hear a double of me. On my end, I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, okay, looks good. That was interesting. I think I hear the car from my other big... Yeah, the car running from my other big Pixkartz window. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, so we're gonna make our track here. So the way that works is, well, first we do the... Well, there's a couple of ways to go about it. You either start with the artwork or the track layout. I think I'm gonna, well, we need a name just because it has to go in a folder anyways. So there's these folders, which is for the actual blocks and checkpoints and all the data stuff. And then there's an, under the images, there's another folder for the maps, for the assets for them. So like in this one, you can see all the stuff for it. So what do I want to call the new one? It's going to be a circuit track, you know, like your Luigi circuits. It's going to be a pretty easy one. What do I want to call it? I should have thought about this before stream. If you guys have ideas, you can put them in chat maybe. I think it should have circuit in the name. Most, wait, no, all? Yeah, all of my tracks are 2 words. So, wait, is that true for Mario Kart as well? Hang on, call that A for now. I want to see. Here's, I just kicked my cable, that's not good. Here's the Mario Kart Wii tracks. This is the only Mario Kart that I've played a significant amount of. And you can tell because I basically put the wheelie mechanic in. Yeah, these are all Moo Moo Meadows. If you put Moo Moo as one word, it's 2 words. Dry Dry Ruins. It's like the only time you get 3 words is when it repeats a word. So Moo Moo and Dry Dry. Well, there's DK's Jungle Parkway. Oh, Shy Guy Beach. Yeah, so the only ones that are not 2 words are the ones where it repeats a word or it's got the name of like a character. So whereas Gold Mine or DK's Jungle Parkway. Draw demo. What? I don't know. Anyways, so what is a good circuit name? Circuit Racer. I think the circuit should probably be the 2nd word. And then Racer doesn't, I don't feel like fits with the theme of the game. Crimson, what? Similarly, I don't even know what that second word is supposed to be. So I'll just put circuit for now, and then should it be? What's a fun shape for a track that I could name it after? Maybe Race from the Wires. This is not the name of the game. This is the name of a track. So I could name it after the location. So the location is going to be kind of like a field almost. It's going to be pretty similar to Moo Moo in that sense. It's just going to have a different road style. I could do Circle Circuit. That would be interesting because I like the name Circle Circuit. The question is, how hard is that to work into the map? Now, I don't want it to be just a circle, but I could make it circular in several aspects. Tuple circuit. Okay, you guys are missing. A lot of you are missing the part where you're supposed to have circuit in there. Yeah, I like Circle Circuit. The only problem is I don't want the map to necessarily be a circle, and then also trying to make it circle themed is I don't really like that either. I wanted it to be a simple shape, but I don't think it's gonna it's not that simple. It's not just gonna be a circle. What other options are there? What are other words for field? Because, well, field circuit doesn't, I don't like that. And I don't want it to be, oh wait, here's an idea. Circuit Park. Sunny Circuit, that one might be good. So Circuit Park or Sunny Circuit? That is the question. No, I can't do Circuit and Meadow because then I already have Moo Moo in here. That's making them a little bit too similar. Hang on, wait, I can do a poll, right? So, track name, and we'll do Circuit Park or Sunny Circuit. There we go. So we'll see what you guys vote on that. Okay, we got 3 votes in. Wait, 7 votes for, okay, you guys like Sunny Circuit. Sunny Circuit. How delayed is it? I think I have the standard delay of, is it like, do I have it on 30 seconds? That's the highest I think it is, the normal thing is. Let me check. It's probably a setting. Output? I'm looking for the stream delay. It's my encoder. I'm not sure. So there's the stream tab, but I wonder if it's set on YouTube. It's interesting. I know I've seen it before. I wonder if it got removed and put somewhere else. There's advanced stream delay. Wait, is there? Yeah, this is fun. I don't have stream delay on. I don't know what YouTube's doing. Okay, wait, it's 50-50. Come on. We've got 20 votes in there and it's 50-50. I think I'm gonna wait and see what happens with the 21st vote. It looked like Sunny Circuit in the beginning, but I'm surprised it's gone to 50-50 here. 15-second delay. But yeah, I have none on here, so I think it's all on YouTube's end, which is funny. I could check my settings on YouTube, but it's interesting that YouTube's got it. Okay, wait, we got our 21st in, and it went to Circuit Park. Where did it go? Alright, I'm gonna end the poll now. Oh, okay, you put a 20-second one in there, and it went to Sunny. Oh, okay, someone's messing with it now. It was 50-50 and 23, and now we're at 52% for Sunny Circuit. We can go back to Sunny Circuit now. No. Alright, I'm ending the poll. So, Sunny Circuit won out, I guess. Yeah. All right. So we have our track name. Now we got to sketch out the layout and stuff like that. So I can take. Here's what I'll take. I'll take the Frosty Iceberg one, and pull up Sprite and work with that. Hang on. I think this works. There we go. Why? Oh, it's rotation. Interesting. So this is the, what is this one? This is Frosty Iceberg. And I'm gonna go ahead and save this over into images. And then we'll do maps. And wait, actually no, I actually saved this into Sprite, I think, normally. Just for the, yeah. So this is gonna be Sunny Circuit. It seemed way more delayed now. Tea Plantation Circuit. That sounds like, light mode's so bad. Is it just because it's brown? I usually don't use Sprite for a ton. I just use it a lot for Pixkartz because the maps are so big, and I like to be able to zoom in nice and close. I feel like I need to make my own tool that's. There are some issues I take with Sprite and just the workflow. And I don't know, maybe I've been talking for a long time about wanting to do a new version of PX Editor. And I think, well, I'm hoping I can get around to it this year. ShopNet comes first. I'm actually working on that more today. So yeah, my networking framework is almost functional. Well, it's functional, but it's missing some things. So today I'm going to work on adding time, like a time synchronization thing where you can access the server time from each of the clients. So that as a way to help you with networking things, since the system clocks might not be lined up. So I want to have that. and then I also want to have like ping measurement and a couple other things. So that will be what I'm working on today with ShopNet after this stream. Yeah, after I am mostly done with ShopNet, I might mess around with the PX Editor 3 and try and get that working, because there are some annoyances I have with Iceberg. Anyways, so let's go ahead and start working on our layout here. Layer, new layer. We can go grab this. Yeah. So there's my drawing. So, the simple solution here is just do that, and then the way I'm gonna handle this is I'll turn this opacity down so we can see. Actually, it doesn't need to be down. I could just draw straight on top of it. Actually, wait, no, there is a purpose in it being down. So if I lower it, I can get the proportions right. Because what happened on Frosty Iceberg is I actually made the map a little bit smaller than intended. So it ended up being like one of the smallest tracks in the game, and possibly the smallest. I'm trying to think if... No, Moo Moo is smaller, I think. Actually, Moo Moo probably takes up more area because it's like a circle, whereas this one has more curves in it. So it takes up a small area, but it might actually be longer. Anyways, so I need to take the road thing. I don't need the ice. I might put like a pond in the middle of this one, just for people to look at. So the way I'll handle this is actually, I remember this width right here was a good starting width. So yeah, I want this to be a regular circuit. The roads are going to be like asphalt though, instead of dirt like all the other tracks. So if I do, I think it's U, and press U again, yeah. So I can do this to make the starting part. And well, let's figure out before we just start drawing the road in. I want to hang on. Yeah, okay. Before we start drawing the road in, I want to draw the rough layout of the map, which we will do in MS Paint. So we have our starting segment like right here or whatever. And I mean, I could do something like this and then just make that the map, because why not? But some more thought into it would be nice. So let's see. The Luigi circuit one is like doing this, isn't it? It's something, or I think it's a little bit more elongated. It's like, I don't know, like that. So I want it to be a bit more detailed than that. I could do like a figure 8 thing. So I could just do that, or like the way you do it in Mario Kart is you just do it like this. What is that, Toad Circuit? I think that's Toad Circuit. Toad Circuit. Where's the layout? Oh, I know Toad Circuit's a little bit more complicated, but it's basically a figure 8. Yeah. So one side's larger, and that actually looks like a fun track, but I just got a ramp right there. Toad Circuit's a very short track. See, I don't want mine to be boring. I think I've had enough like looping over itself in my tracks. So if we just look for reference, this one doesn't. It has a lot of jumps though, but like Sandy Oasis has the loop right here in the bottom right. Ghoul Pit has the loop right here. Actually, I only have 2 of them. So it would still be the minority if 7 or 3 out of 7 maps had a loop in them. I could make it a figure 8 thing. That would be cool. So yeah, let's try that. I could just copy Toad Circuit, really. So like if I copy Toad Circuit, we would just have a wee, something like that. Which I do like that, but Let's try to be a little bit more original. I don't want too many turns in it. I think it should have a lot of straight sections. I'm thinking something like nope. What if it looped like, no wait, it could go this way, because I'm trying to avoid doing just the toad circuit, but if I just flip it, it's less obvious. Because I kind of want, I don't want the loop immediately, which is, I could just immediately do this. Actually, would that be bad? I guess not. So I could just have the loop right here. Wait, what if the whole map was just the Mac command symbol? That would be funny. But so okay, well, what if we did a more traditional figure eight where we've got, so you could start in the middle here. Actually, I'm wondering if weird things might happen if the finish line is right under the part where you jump over the track. So I think I would have to move it up, so it'd be like you start further up than where it loops. Anyways, so I'm thinking we go around like this, and then actually we could do that. You come across here, and then we can go like this. Wait, hold on. This is triggering my image recognition. It's a Neuralink logo. That would make a funny track. Alright, so I do kind of like this layout. It's not blatantly Toad Circuit, and then it's also kind of like a figure eight. We would have to start further up here because I don't want to put this hop over right on the start line, because the lap counter might do something weird with that. I'm not sure. YouTube's trying to tell me to insert ads. I don't want to. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna do this one, which means that this straight section right here needs to be moved to the center. Let's change this to our background color, and then we can grab this and move it. Oh boy. The background color does not work the same as MS Paint, I don't think. I like that in MS Paint, I can have the background color set and I can drag it like that and not reveal whatever's behind it, because it just switched to transparent automatically, which I guess makes sense to some degree. So maybe it would be an option to fill it with the background color immediately. Because in most cases you do want to move something over a transparent background, but in this case that's not what I'm doing. And I think actually in most cases you would want to do what Iceberg does, except for pixel art. Pixel art is one of the few situations where it can make sense to do what I'm trying to do here. All right, so let's fill that in. Let's go ahead and start drawing out our track here. So this doesn't have to be perfect. I normally just, my shapes are always very rough on these. This straight section is going to be pretty long though, so I'm going to have to pull this out. And we'll do that. And with that extended, that should be better. Now I'm gonna have to draw this out and loop it. So I'm thinking we go right here and we just go wee. And then we have a little dent. This is the toad circuit dent. Wee. Alright. Wee. Actually, wait, no, this is the inside, so this actually has to go pretty far, like this way. Don't want the turns to be too sharp. This is a circuit track. Should not be a difficult one. You can see that the curves do not look very smooth, but that's just kind of how I've made the whole game so far. All right, so we need it to cross down here probably. So this is gonna have to curve down like that. Actually, no, this should go left a bit longer, I think. And then come down like this. And then after that, we can come across. That's disgusting. I'm not liking my strokes here. These are not very smooth. I feel like I should take out the drawing tablet for these tracks sometimes. All right, so the way this is gonna work is it's going to be a bump here. So well, this part's right here is going to be lined with fences, so you can't escape it. Then you're going to hit the bump thing, so you can jump over. Wait, is that correct? Is that how I wait? No, I have to do the water thing because the solid blocks are infinitely tall. The only way I can have a loop is if there's water in between. So I actually have to, oh, no, I don't want that. I have to remove some of this. And the way this will work is this road will go up to here. There'll be water in between, so you can't cross it from here. Because otherwise you could just go from here to here and get a huge shortcut. So yeah, we'll wait. Actually, I wonder if this is weird because technically you're falling down to the previous. Oh, yeah. So I remember how I was saying there might be something weird with the laps because of jumping over near the finish line. The thing I have to avoid is if the part you land on is further down in your current lap, or just further ahead essentially. So the finish line actually has to be before the jump, which means that I need to jump over here. So I have to cut off all this stuff. It's a weird checkpoint system I've got going here. So this has got to be kind of tight. And then I can just draw the straight line, I think. So we'll do that. And then we can have it just kind of rounded off here. And I gotta remember to not make it too thin like I did on Frosty Iceberg. That was a huge issue on Frosty Iceberg, it's just that the track itself was too thin. All right, so now this part, drawing curves is tricky, especially with the mouse, because I'm not using a drawing tablet. I have one on my desk, it's just not plugged in. I'd have to grab the cables, and it seems like a lot of work just to draw a couple lines, so I'm being lazy about it. It's so bumpy. That's a weird looking corner. The problem is that this corner shape on the outside makes it so that this one has to be kind of sharp, I think, for it to look somewhat normal. That's not correct. This has got to be wider. Watch this track just be way too wide. Which, I mean, I think it would be hard for the circuit track to be too wide because, ooh, that's too skinny. But yeah, I think it would be hard for the circuit track to be too wide because it's a beginner track. It's not, you should have plenty of space. Now what would be the problem is if it feels too big because it's just too large. People die when they are killed. What I mean is that if the length of the track is too long, then that will be a problem. But if the track is wide but it's not too long, then it will be fine. So I just want to make sure that the track doesn't take too long to get through. I don't like that. I don't like that. This part's way wider. Oh, that's not a good curve. This is a better curve. There we go. Fill in those little gaps there. There we go. That's one of the hardest parts. All right, so this part right here is definitely too skinny. Let's smooth this out a bit. Smooth the brain out. All right, and then this part could probably be smoothed out like that, and no one will know. I think a lot of these turns are easier to clean up after. Actually, wait, no, it should be kind of sharp. It's easier to clean up after I do all this stuff. Like just iterating on it is a lot easier than trying to get it right the first time, I think. But yeah, this is skinny still. So I think what I need is for this whole thing to be widened. It's fine if like one section is a little bit skinny. There we go, that looks better. So for scaling reference, because I don't want it to feel too big, I can just turn down the opacity and take a look at Frosty Iceberg. Uh-oh. So I think a lot of it needs to be made wider still. Specifically, this part right here needs to be wider. And then I guess the track needs to have a decent size over here, which is planned. But these long sections might be a little bit boring without curves. I don't know. We'll see. I think might want to add, here's the reference again, might want to add an extra curve because I just have this weird shape right here. Maybe add an extra hump in there. All right. So, yeah. So notes say make it bigger. All right. So here's what I'm going to do for this. I can make sure, actually wait, no, let me correct the sizes over here first because these are too skinny. I think I want to make it go bigger out this way. There we go, I like that. So a little, all right. And then I can also go this. I want to make it bigger here. There we go. Ta-da! Now that should hopefully be thick enough. This part right here should probably be pulled out a little bit. Yay. Alright, I'm gonna move my thing to the other side. Will Devin overtake Jobs? I have no idea, because from what I've seen, maybe some, like, well, not yet. I don't really think that stuff I don't think is at the point where it can really do a normal job. It sounds like there are a select few, what was it? There's a select few to do Upwork or Fiverr. I think it was Upwork, wasn't it? There are a select few freelance jobs that it can complete, but some of those are really easy. So it's not there yet. The question is, how fast will it get there, and will it hit a wall on its way? So I know that the industry I work in is mostly safe because I don't work for the defense industry. I work in the space industry, but the space industry is a lot of lower level stuff. So I work with hardware that is very lacking in documentation. So an AI would have, any AI that wanted to take my job would have to be able to, it's not like web development where you can just work with whatever documentation, or if you're dealing with internal stuff, you just look at the internal code base and you can figure it out. There's stuff that I work on where you straight up can't do it without talking to people sometimes. Like jobs like that, and also not only that, but the whole cloud computing thing wouldn't, the way that they have to basically send up your code to or whatever it's working on, it has to go to some remote servers for processing, because that's where all the GPUs are. And that would also be a problem because there are tight controls on some of the stuff I work on, because space stuff, space stuff has some legal restrictions as to who can work on it and who can see it and stuff like that. So because of that, jobs, or the job I have and a lot of jobs in my area would probably not be affected by Devin in the near future. I think the first thing that's gonna potentially have some run-ins with it would be web development, because that's the most accessible one. There's the least restrictions on it, there's the most resources online, and then also because you're detached from hardware, it's a lot easier for the AI models to iterate on it. So like, for example, in my case, to iterate, I have to actually, I have to work with physical hardware a lot. So until you got a robot, you're going to have some problems. So I think, and that's the case for a lot of people that work in the lower level areas I'm in, is that you have to deal with physical hardware sometimes, and AI can't do that yet. And if it can, it's going to take a whole lot of other jobs first. So I think as long as your job is interdisciplinary enough, then you'll probably be fine for a while, at least until we've got other problems to deal with because of how many other jobs have been taken. Pretty sure you did not see my real face, because there's no way that that actually shows. That's literally not how it's coded. This is a Pygame output. I can show you the window. Here's the Pygame thing in the top corner. Looks like a duck. Interesting. I can see that. Oh wait, what if I should just shape the whole map like a duck. You know how there's the Yoshi, for Yoshi's Island or whatever it's called. I should just make the whole map a duck. So, this is almost a duck. He needs some legs. So let's change this. That would be funny. Let's get rid of this, and then we will draw our duck. So our duck needs a tail, and then he needs some feet, right? Okay, wait, hold on. This is basically a Yoshi. Hang on. Until you get to the feet, and then this is literally just a Yoshi. Wait, I'm gonna just make sure it's not too close. Yoshi's Island. Is it Yoshi's Island? Is that the name of the track? Mario Kart. Hang on. Okay, it's a bit different. Here's the, yeah, that's what it normally looks like. Oh, that's how they did the hand. Interesting. Yeah. So this will just be a duck. The hardest part of the track is just getting around the feet. So actually, I'm going to change that a little bit, take some actual inspiration from Yoshi's Island, and we'll, so you go out like this, and then the way you can make this easier is by just making it more bulbous, the feet. Then it doesn't look enough like a duck. I think we gotta get the tough track on the feet here. There we go. So that's our duck. And that will be a reference for this. So I'm going to just grab this and flip it. Is it Shift H, I think? Yeah. So I can just line this up here, and it's just got to be roughly close enough. I don't know. No one's going to really notice if it's a little bit off here. Good enough. Actually, it is a little bit close on this side. That's too far. That's good. All right, so this is gonna have to come up in the back and loop down that way. Jerry the duck. The duck went to a lemonade stand and said to the man running the stand, you're working on the Ninja game tutorial right now? Oh, he's probably left by now, yep. Yes, I am making a new map. I'm not going to answer the programming language question because I've answered it a ton of times already. I need to just make the frequently asked questions either a video or just document somewhere that I can point people to so that I can stop answering those in streams. Is cybersecurity a stable career path, or is developer a stable career path? I think it depends. I don't know. I don't think people can really know that yet. At least I don't know that. So, well, a lot of the cybersecurity stuff's more in maintenance. So there is, like, some of it's development, some of it's maintenance, and there's some development in cybersecurity. But cybersecurity is needed for existing software. they already have AI tools to monitor networks and stuff like that, but I'm not sure how much that impacts the industry. I'm assuming that you're saying that in response to the Devon question, but yeah, all that stuff's hard to know right now because I don't think people didn't really expect that it was. At least the way it's looking right now, it looks like some of the stuff in the art space might be what AI is coming for first. So actually, one of the biggest things that is going to be impacted is what is it? The lower end stock photos, for example, are going to be one of the first things to go, which is not. I don't think people really expected that. That was not really the expectation with AI. So I don't know. It's hard to say what's the most stable career path at this point. You haven't released a game for 3 years? I mean, to be fair, I have not released a paid game in like 5. Just been doing game jams and stuff. Nintendo's legal team on their way for someone making something slightly similar. I was looking at that to try to see if they could copyright the maps, like the map layouts, and well, definitely they have the copyright on the names, and I think they actually have trademarks on some of the names as well, but tracks, as long as it's there's not really any legal precedent for how similar maps in video games have to be. And something like a track, there are not that many variations that you can have, especially on a small scale. If you think about it in terms of straight sections and turns, there's really not that many. So that, like in most tracks, so the actual layout of a track, like the top-down perspective layout of a track, is going to be they can just coincidentally be almost the exact same as long as they're small enough between multiple games, just because there's not very many options. It's like figure 8 track, for example. There's tons of games that would have that, and then there's a variation on a figure 8. So turning it into a duck is going to make it quite different from a lot of figure 8 tracks, but I think that normal figure 8 tracks, you just put a couple variations in there to make it not exactly a figure 8. You're still going to be almost the exact same as a bunch of other games out there. So I think the issue is, though, that if you actually get to the courts are not going to... I suspect that the courts are not going to be smart enough to know or to think about the fact that tracks could be so similar. Just coincidentally, and that I guess you shouldn't be able to copyright a track layout unless it's incredibly distinct. So I get the Yoshi one, actually. So if you've got like the hands, the feet, and the spikes on the back and all that stuff, I can see that one being being protected by copyright or something. But for example, the Toad Circuit, that would be absurd if that was actually copyrighted. Let me pull that up again. So Toad Circuit, we've got ourselves... If this were copyrighted, that would be insane. Like the actual layout here, if someone just did a figure 8 with a little, like just a little bit longer in this direction and just one little curve right here on the bigger side, that would be absurd if we're copyrighted. Now, if you've got item boxes and stuff, and you put the item boxes in the exact same place and stuff like that, then maybe. It would be kind of crazy. Although the thing with Nintendo is that they sue for things that they legally should not be able to do it for, and then because they're a big company suing someone small that can't pay the legal fees, they win. Like they get to shut down people's stuff. And that is one of my concerns with Moo, is that where's Moo? This is a little bit close to a certain track, but it is slightly different in a couple ways, I think. And then also, obviously, there's a big forest in the middle, and wait, did I switch it to Bok? Or is it still Moo? I forgot. I switched to Bok, didn't I? I think I did. Wait, it's in the banners folder. No, that's not. That's the ID name of it. It's like Bok now, isn't it? Not Moo. Because there's chickens and not cows. And I don't have the gophers. And like I said, there's a forest in the middle. There's a bunch of things that are different about it. So hopefully I should be fine. It would be a stretch for them even to go after this one, I think. Yeah. I'm just looking through chat again. Have a frequently asked questions box that pops up randomly during stream. I don't think that's the best idea, because people are going to join and then immediately ask the question. So I think I need to be able to just point them to something, because I don't want it up all the time. Now, what I did have before is that I had a pinned comment answering the frequently asked questions in the chat, which I think worked pretty well, but I haven't messed with that lately. I can just like set up a page on my website for that or something like that, or maybe a video. Learning AI would probably put you ahead of the crowd for employability. The problem with quote unquote learning AI is that it's the way you interface with it keeps changing, and that's kind of the whole point. So, especially right now with how fast things are changing, let's think back to I'm trying to think of a good example here. Well, I was just trying to think of in terms of versions changing, what the differences are between those. So, I mean, the way you ask questions to GPT-3, was it 3.1? What is it? Or is it 3.5 or 3? The original Chat GPT, is that 3.5? I don't remember. Because didn't they upgrade it like halfway through or something? And then there's 4. I haven't used 4 personally, but the way you ask questions is different, and like even the tools are different. There's all sorts of tools popping up that are different every time. So if you remember my most popular video, I have the sponsorship from Tab9, which was a GPT-2 based code completion tool, and the way that you use GPT-2 was completely different than dramatically different than 3. And then when you actually break it down into the use cases where you would be using it for work, so like Tab9 is one of those cases. Every single tool is so different that there's not like I wouldn't consider it a major skill that you would learn, and they're meant to be easy to use. That's kind of the whole point, is that they're trying to take something that took more effort before and make it easier. Now, something you can do is get into learning about artificial intelligence in general and actually get into development in that industry. So like the machine learning stuff, which is a lot harder to do. And it is a very different skill set than understanding the current, I guess, landscape of the AI tools at the moment. So I don't think there's a really much of a way to prepare for what may be happening in the future in terms of AI, which is why I haven't been all over it. I've just been kind of watching and seeing what happens and not getting too involved in any one thing because it's going to be so different in the next, just like 3 months down the road. Yeah. Now, being open to using tools that are based on AI, so like in the for example, using Tab9 or Copilot and stuff like that, in putting it into your workflow could be beneficial to some degree in the short term. But like I said, those things can change so fast. So just the difference between Copilot and Tab9 as of when I promoted it is dramatic. That's partially because they're meant to be used for different purposes. And that's kind of what I'm pointing out, is that Copilot's more focused on I think it's more. I actually have not kept up with Copilot really. I think you just put your essentially a prompt and it'll write code for you, but inside your editor. Whereas with Tab9, it's my favorite way to use. They did have multi-line completions, but my favorite way to use it was just for single-line completions, because that's when it was most often correct. A lot of the stuff I do, they don't really have enough training on to be able to do well in larger completions anyways, so which is why I really haven't touched Copilot. You're wondering if Pygame is viable for vectorized environments. Wait. Are vectorized environments, is that just like a fancy way of saying parallel, like in parallel or asynchronous, or multi-processing or IPC or I don't know, but so if you're asking if it's good for asynchronous stuff, then I would say for the most part, a lot of the game development stuff isn't. There's a reason why a lot of game engines forced all things onto one core for a while, and then like sometimes they got into moving some stuff off to another core. Some of them are better than others about splitting it up evenly, and they've been working on that stuff, but there's a lot of work that goes into splitting up processes in a meaningful way for performance. And that's not really the point of Pygame, because when you do that, you're adding complexity. Look, you're at the cost of your own time in creating that system and the technical debt that comes with it. You're making something perform better, which is the opposite of what Pygame is. Which is Pygame for me is mostly about getting stuff done quickly and easily. So not necessarily the most performant, although my performance is good enough. So when you try to throw in that other idea of trying to put in all that extra work just to squeeze out a little bit of performance, it doesn't make much sense with the tool set. You also want to build a game like this. Can I tell you where to start and suggest some resources? Can you get the complete source code on Patreon? There's outdated source code for Pixkartz on Patreon. I didn't want some of the newer stuff. Actually, there's not very much difference between that one and what I've got right now, because most of what I've done since then is just adding tracks. So it's mostly the same. So yeah, you can get that on Patreon if you're interested in that. It is a bit tricky to run though because it's got like the server and the clients and all that configuration. Um, but I wouldn't consider that a good resource unless you're fairly experienced already because you're just gonna get lost. And I don't really have any recommendations other than what I said in my most popular video for that stuff. Is coding viable for a full-time job if you create your own games? For 99% of people, no. Um, so I think I will always be able to make more money as a software engineer than as, or maybe almost always make it more money as a software engineer than a game developer. Because, a lot of people in software engineering who have the experience to talk about it will say that game development is one of the hardest fields, especially lower level game development, is one of the hardest fields in software. And it so you can just jump over to other software projects or other stuff in the software industry and make way more money because everyone's being competitive over the game development industry. And then as an indie, there's so many people trying to make games that it's very hard to end up making more than I can make just doing software engineering. So like, yeah, if you have the skills to do like the stuff that I'm doing in game development, then you're probably way ahead of the average person in like just regular software industry, just because game development is in general harder than a lot of the other fields within software. So I think, yeah, it's just how it'll always be. Now, whether or not you can do it for a living is a different question, which allows for more people to be doing what I'm hoping to do at some point. So I'm not necessarily looking to make more than I would from software engineering. I would want to be making enough to be saving a fair amount for retirement and stuff like that. If I'm so I would be looking for a much higher income from game development to do it full time than most people would. A lot of people would have already jumped over to full time game development from where I'm sitting, but then my standards are just different, I guess. But it is possible, like I said, but very few people can end up doing it because. Especially if you start having to hire other people to do different parts, like hiring contractors or freelancers or whatever to like do your art and stuff like that, then that gets very expensive very quick. If you can do it for yourself, it saves a lot of money, but then that means you have to have the skills for everything, but not only have the skills for everything, but also be good enough that you can make a game that can sell. So if you have the skills to do a little bit of pixel art, that can save you a lot of money, but then it could hurt you a lot in the end because maybe your artwork isn't good enough to make a game that would sell well. So it's just one of the hardest things, like fields to be in, I guess. And I'm still reading. What language am I using right now? I don't know if you're asking this to me or not, but I'm using Python. Why is it harder in Python? What? Is that a response to something I said? I'm not sure if Felix Abbott is responding to me or someone else. If he's responding to me, then I'm not sure what he's saying. Should you start with an engineer job and then create games part-time? That's what I'm doing. Because, well, especially if you're in a wealthy country like the US, as is my case, the amount that you can make from developing games on your own doesn't matter for where you live. So actually, that's one of the things to consider, I guess, is that if you're living in a poor country, you can make, for the same skills, you get paid the same amount as me, even though I'm in I guess one of the wealthiest countries on earth. So it can be a much more viable career option to do independent game development, especially solo, because then you don't need the networking as much to like get a hold of publishers and stuff like that. Because like a publisher might not like the fact that you're from a certain country or something like that. But if you're just developing games by yourself, that makes things a lot. There's less barriers there, and so we're on more of an equal footing. So because of that, it could be a very viable option if you're in a country where your income would be a lot lower. I guess one thing to keep in mind, though, is that there's regional pricing and stuff like that. So if you are making it for an audience that is in like your country, for example, you're not going to be making as much money. So the one difference I can think of as an independent game developer that I have an advantage from being from like the US compared to some of the poorer countries is that my English is good. And because of that, I can sell to countries where the regional pricing is much more expensive, like the US and Europe and stuff like that. So that's where a lot of the money is in game development. But if you have, if your English is good and you're from a poor country, then that does, or even just the median country, it can be a lot more viable to do solo game development. And so the other thing the reason I was bringing that up was because since I am in the U.S., it makes a lot of sense for me to go into engineering first, make my money there, and then if I wanted, after enough time, I could at any point just retire, move to a different country with a lower cost of living, with my savings from working in the U.S., and then just do whatever I want. Like all the game development stuff I want from there, as opposed to trying to get into game development right off the bat, either trying to survive here in the US, which I don't think is the best idea, doing solo game development when that's not dependent on my location, or just immediately moving to another country and trying to do that with the lower cost of living. I already could to some extent, but I would prefer to have, I guess, enough investments to keep me afloat, so essentially retirement, if I'm going to move to another country and do something risky like solo game development. So that's why I chose to do engineering, like in the industry first, and then do game development on the side. Now, and that's why it would take so much more for me to jump into doing game development full time than most people, is because I think I'm thinking more about the future than just the idea of pursuing your dreams that a lot of people try to follow, which it does work out for a lot of people. So I think there are a lot of people, especially in game dev YouTube, like for example, that got a good start, decided that they were going to go full time, and then it worked out for them. But then in the chance that it doesn't, then I would prefer to have been taking the safe route. So I think a lot of it depends on your risk tolerance as to which way you want to go. But I think if you're starting from zero and you have no background in game development, then I wouldn't go straight into it. It's a very hard thing to get started in. If you have a background where you're already making money and it's a decent amount, then that's where you can start considering getting into it full time, I think. And you can always do it on the side with other things. Like, for example, I mean, I was doing it on the side while I was in school the whole time. So I think most people end up having to juggle it with something else at some point. And then the reward for that is when you get to the point where you can make that jump. Game programming normally pays less than software. Yeah, and that's another thing. If he was he asking about? I would guess I was under the impression he was asking about not working for companies, but working for himself. I don't know. Maybe if you're working for companies, that's a different story. You can get a more stable income that way. But remember, you're still making like half as much as the people in the other software fields, and like I guess per hour, because there's the crunch time and all that. Actually, maybe less than half. Yeah, probably maybe less than half. And so you're working way more hours. You're making less per hour. It's a lot more competitive. You're doing harder work. I feel like too. So and your employer doesn't treat you as well in that industry. So I just had no interest in actually being in the industry. So for me, it's just software engineering or solo game dev. I don't want to work for any of the big game development companies. Now, if they hire me as to a more traditional software engineering role, like maybe some, like for example, an example I heard is from one of my professors is that he was hired as a contractor to do some memory management stuff for some big AAA game. And in that case, maybe I'd be more open to it because they're not trying to hire game development people, and so they'll treat you differently, you'll get paid differently, it's just overall a better deal. So I'd be open to something like that maybe, but the way a lot of the people are treated nowadays, I'm not super interested. So you're talking about making your own engine. Yeah, I wouldn't try to make money from it, but I think if you try to make your own engine, the experience you get from that is incredibly valuable. It's a very, very good learning exercise, I think. Now, the benefit you get depends on to what degree you take making an engine. So if you're just doing something like, oh, I made an entity system or something like that, then that's not going to help you too much. But if you do go the full distance, and especially if you're doing it in like 3D or something, and you learn about all that stuff, then that will benefit you a ton in the long run, just from just the problem-solving perspective and all those soft skills that go into software. So I wouldn't discourage anyone from doing that necessarily, but I wouldn't do it for the money. Do you think you should focus more on Pygame or something like Unity? It depends on what you're interested in. They have different benefits, and I mentioned it in my second most popular video, which I followed up with another one, so you can look at those. How do I get over struggling to finish projects? Game jams is the trick. And the other thing is, what's the word I'm thinking of? Starts with an A. Why can't I think of the word? Accountability, I guess, is so if you have a commitment where there are people that would hold you accountable, then it's a lot easier to get through something. So like, and a lot of the stuff recently, I've intentionally been like, there's a reason you haven't really seen any. Like I've had tons of projects, like smaller projects that could have turned into bigger ones that I did never put on YouTube because I didn't want the commitment associated with putting something like that on YouTube. So if you saw from last year, there were, I think, multiple different projects I was messing around with that only ended up in the compilation at the end of the year and didn't show up on my YouTube channel outside of that. And that's because I was intentionally not committing to them. But when you do something like you make a Steam page and you pay that fee and you go through the work of setting that up, there's more commitment there, and that will kind of push you to get through a project. And I wouldn't do it right from the beginning as an incentive to actually finish. I would recommend that you have decent progress. So that's kind of like the halfway point. So you have a game, you know what you want to do, and you know, like you have a roadmap for what needs to be done, and you're confident you can get it done. You're halfway there, so you already have something that's playable and fun. Then you set up a Steam page, and that's kind of the motivation and the accountability to get you the rest of the way there. So that's something that helps. I mean, and then I guess outside of that, game jams are a good way to just get something out there. It's a good exercise as well. You live in India and you're currently studying IT, which is the best college or in IIT. What is that? Wait, I forgot what it is. India Institute of Technology or something like that. Which is the best college, and you can get a good job, but also have a passion about game creation. I don't know what the prospects look like from India, especially from IIT, because I would suspect that from there, from what I've heard, it sounds like you could probably come to America and make a decent amount in our software industry. And actually, wait, no, isn't there? I think there's like some really strict stuff about immigration, like to the U.S. even for work, where isn't there some stuff where I feel like I've heard something where India is one of the most difficult countries to come to the U.S. from, because we have some weird system where it's like a certain amount of people for each country, and it's not I think it's like not entirely proportional to the size of the country or something like that. I don't know what the exact system is, but I think I've heard that India is one of the most difficult countries to come to the U.S. from, just because there's so many people that want to do it. But there are definitely other places you could go, and you could probably still from India do a lot better in the software industry than in game development. But it depends on how much of a difference the work makes for you in terms of what you actually like, and then how much risk tolerance you have, I guess. Do I get game commissions? Yes, sometimes. I don't do most of them. Or like I don't take on most of them. You'd hate software engineering probably, so you'd rather do game programming, but it depends on you and if you are fond of programming in other people's games every day. Yeah, and that's another thing for me, is just that I would be a lot less interested in making other people's games all the time. That's one of the reasons I don't do commissions or contracted game development work much, is because to me that's pretty much the same anyways as doing normal software engineering stuff. Actually, I think I like it a little bit less than normal software engineering stuff, because I don't know, something about drawing art for someone else's project is not fun. So just being entirely in the software is nicer, I think. I think I enjoy the process more in coding, whereas I like the creative aspects where I'm creating something that I'm interested in more with artwork. So I actually think I would like game development, like even working for those companies, less. I'd like the work itself less than normal software engineering. you live in a poor country, game dev isn't really popular, and you don't think there are any companies there. You really love game dev, but you got into software engineering, you don't know what you should pursue. Yeah, I mean, for a lot of the situations, there is. I don't know how difficult it is, but I mean, people with skills that are in demand oftentimes can immigrate to other places to find work in the industry that they want to work in, I guess. But like I've mentioned, it's really up to you, just depending on your risk tolerance, how much you like each thing, and I guess what the ups and downsides are, depending on your current circumstances. So, and it's the same thing as financial advice, pretty much. It's very it's very specific to your situation. You know someone who started with game development but had to switch to engineering due to less income? If they were doing like entirely solo or like independent, trying to work for themselves, then that's very common, I think. Now if they're working for a company, that's a little bit less common, because I think normally they pay a livable wage. Well, I know at least in the US they normally do. But I mean, you could just want more, because a lot of those people can't really save money. Which is, like I said, one of the reasons that I'm in the software industry outside of game development. I should make a game engine that works on Pygame, would be good project. I already have one, kind of. I have Pigpen. That's the thing I've been using for some stuff recently. Murder Moonshine uses it, Moon Rabbit Collection uses it, and Yawnoc uses it. So I have multiple games. Well, and Pixkartz uses it a little bit. But I have multiple games running on a Pygame game engine, kind of. I was going to make a video about it, then I just never got around to it. If the idea of a game is good, would I do the commission? No, because for me it's the full creative control, because so it's either I get full creative control or I have to be paid enough to not care. So as soon as someone has an idea, if someone's commissioning me, they're going to have restraints as to how I execute on their idea. Even just something small would kind of ruin it for me. So I wouldn't, for me, there's a very strong line between a project that I own and have full creative control over and something that's been commissioned, even if the idea is something that I'm interested in. So yeah. That would not be the reason for me to do a commission necessarily. Now, it could be a reason for me to not do a commission, where it's an idea that I just really don't want to make. But outside of those rare ideas, for the most part, I don't care what the idea is. I don't fix people's code individually. If you send me your code and ask me to fix it, which a lot of people do, I will usually not even respond, because if I actually help with that, like opening up people's code and running it to figure out what's wrong or something like that, then I would be that would take up all my time, because there's way too many people ask me to do that stuff. Now, sometimes I'll pop into the questions channel on my Discord server and answer some questions, like when I have a couple free minutes or something like that. and that's the place you should go if you're stuck on something, is because there are people there that can help. There's also the Pygame Discord server, which is specific to Pygame and also has places you can get help. I'm just not the person you should be asking for those types of things, really. Now, it is different if you're looking to hire me to do that. But then usually that's not the situation with these things. Anyways, back to the duck. All right. So he needs his tail. Actually, wait. I'm going to flatten this thing out. So yeah, he needs his tail. This part needs to be stretched out a bit. So we'll do this, make it a little bit longer. And then we can start working on the tail. Actually, let's do the feet, and then I can come up to the tail, because the feet are going to be the tricky part here. So this right here, this area right here will be maybe there will be the start line. What I have to be careful about is if you can hit this ramp right here and get across the start line without hitting the checkpoints that are in the middle or that are past it. So if I had the start line right here and someone just hit the ramp and went straight to here, then they can, it would count them as being still on the same lap. Whereas if it's back here, they jump across, land here, and drive down this way, that counts as going back a lap because they hit the checkpoints that are right here. So I have to be careful about that. But let's get to the feet. So the feet, let me just, for scale, take a look. Yep. So we don't need a ton more space. I think I can keep it in proportion somewhat with the drawing we've got here. So let's do the inside first. Now, actually, when you're drawing the shapes like this, I think let's do a guiding line in the middle. I've not done it this way before. So typically normally I draw the outside and inside lines, but let's do a guiding line first. I think that's a good, smart way to go about this. So if I draw the guiding line, just so that I know where I want to go. Actually, let's make this bigger. Make it bigger, and then I can see it from all zoomed out like that. So duck needs some feet. Oh wait, we're gonna run out of space because we're going too far down. I can move the whole map out, but so this is the guiding line. I'm actually a little bit worried about this track being big at this point. So I'm thinking, yeah, we go up this way. We've got a little tail. And then get that. Actually, that sticks up too far. It does not need to go up that far. It comes down this way anyways. Duck. It's a chunky duck. All right, so let's go ahead and move this whole thing, which might lag a bit. Ooh, yeah, that's lagging. So because there aren't a ton of curves, I think the size is fine. Let's pull up our reference again, and then we can measure it. Oh no, it's this one that has to be transparent. Once we get this right, then I just gotta draw the connections and we're done. So I'm looking at this and it just looks a little bit longer than Frosty Iceberg, which is good. Actually, wait, so we've got this doubles back there. And yep. Actually, it might be the, yeah, I think that it's longer by like a few seconds, which is not a lot. but good enough. It's about what I was looking for. So I think I got the scale right. So as long as I can keep the road widths correct, we're good. So let's go ahead and draw this. Actually, no, I said I was going to do the feet first because that's the easier place to start. Let's do the inside first because this is the one that matters less. It's going to be tricky on the inside of the feet, actually, because I don't have much space to work with down here. I need to keep my spacing semi-consistent here. It's tricky to get these strokes. Because if I zoom out, then it's not accurate. Because you can see these jitters here because it's moving multiple pixels because I'm zoomed out. So you have to be zoomed into an appropriate level when you're doing this. So it's going to be like a mostly straight, just starting to curve. Oh, that started out good, but then it got messed up. All right. Now, so this part can be kind of tight. This will be the one kind of tricky part of the track, is the foot. But then as soon as we get back out to here, this got to widen up. I think it curved up too fast. How much I want to go into this? Here, I think that's good enough. Okay, my eyes are adjusting weird to this, and now the road looks pink. Ugh. All right. So now we just got to do the outside and then the water. And then we can work on getting it into the game so that we can do stuff on it. Oh, I also have to do the extras. So that would mean the ramp, the one ramp, maybe a speed boost or something somewhere. Oh, what if I gave the duck an eye? I could give the duck an eye. If I put a little thing right here that had like a ramp on it, so you could shortcut across here, that would be so cool. Because that would give him an eye. I'm definitely doing that. So we will have 2 ramps. And maybe like a speed up thingy. So this is where it's going to have to get kind of skinny. I can go further than that. So there's the foot. Let's compare this with the rest of the road. And actually, I think it's too wide. That's interesting. It's just out of habit because I'm drawing with respect to the guiding line now, which is not something I'm used to. Did I do it again? I kind of did, but not too bad. And then I can like curve this one out. It makes a lot of sense for that to curve out a lot. And then we go back to here. And we've got ourselves a duck. All right, so let's fill in the colors. And that is our duck track. Now we can clean up the edges a little bit. So this needs a little bit more space on the outer side, just because it's a sharp turn. There's the duck. Now let's give him an eye. So like I said, I wanted the platform right here, so we can just make that not really a platform, just like a strip of road. Actually, it doesn't need to be that big. Can make it smaller. A duck. I'm tempted to give him wings. Just like make a little. Whoa, wait, hold on. I have an idea. What if there was a shortcut right here? So you can like cut through around here, and there's it, but you're gonna need like the what is it? The blue boost thingy. No, the purple boost, purple lightning thingy. That's what you would have to have. I wasn't zoomed in enough. So you got to make the little. This is the little feathers or something that make up the wing. And then we just go back this way a little bit. So if you don't have the boost thingy, you're gonna have a tough time with that. Right. But that part will probably be dirt. So there's gonna be a couple things that are gonna be dirt in here. So this part and then the eye. Duck. All right, so just trying to center it a little bit. Because what happens, you can see this on the right side of, what is it, of BC3, is that the track size is not correct and you can run up against the fence and the floor starts sliding. It does some weird stuff. All right. Oh, no. So the last step is the water. So the water has to go right about here. And the way that works is literally just grab pure black. You make sure it's an RGB black. And you just just gotta make a little pond. And this doesn't show up on the mini map, so people won't really notice this. Actually, wait. So one of the things that I ran into an issue with on, what was it called? On Sandy Oasis was the little strips of grass right here being a little bit tricky to work with. What if I made it like a little boardwalk thing that sticks out actually? So then I could just, let me just scale this down to 1. We're gonna actually connect it this way. And so the road's gonna stick out over the water. Just gonna go like this. I don't wanna go to that. I don't want to go that far up either. It's just tricky stuff. Then we could just come across here, and we need a little bit of a grass strip just to place the artwork onto. And then this will just be water stuff, doing water things in water places. There we go. All right, now we do the other side. Wait, is there a shortcut there? So I just have to make sure that you can't go this way, skipping the beak. So I just have to run some fences along through the beak, and I'm good. So this is gonna be there. Actually, no, I did it like straight up, didn't I? I don't need to go that far. Yeah, I can like take the boardwalk thing from whatchamacallit, Pirate Bay, and stick it on the ends here. That would be cool. Now, wouldn't it be funny if there was just a stream of water running across? Yeah, I want a river just going straight through here. Like as if it were, the duck were on, like floating on water. So you just run a river straight through, like right here where this line is, as if it's floating. That would be funny. And then you just have bridges right here, which would be very nice environmentally. You just do little humps for the waves. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. All right, so to do that, we just go wee. I gotta be zoomed in for it to be clean. Wee. I just gotta connect this right. And then I can come out over here. Ooh. Oh wait, so the way I'm gonna do this is that there's gonna have to be a ramp on this last one right here that's gonna go over the river. To the woods, to grandmother's house we go. And it's gonna go all the way through the map, which means that I have to get, if you remember the Frosty Iceberg thing, I had to tile or do the artwork all the way down the coastline, which is a little bit annoying, but it's worth it. So the width here doesn't matter, it doesn't need to be anything specific, it can be whatever, rivers do weird things. So I don't have to worry too much about this like I did with the road. Just draw whatever, have fun, put squiggly lines everywhere that will be permanently etched in people's memory. Now, if I really wanted it to feel like this is the water half, I could make the whole bottom half bridges, but then that's not really the theme of the map. It's supposed to be a circuit, so that's not what I'm gonna do. All right, there we go. Here's our river. The duck is really coming together. The question is, what happened up by the neck? Do I have an email? It's on my website, somewhere there. I think it's on the bottom or something. Is it? I think so. What about a track editor? This is my track editor. What are you talking about? Can you not see this? Definitely not a duck, totally a racetrack I've got going on in Iceberg here. Although if you want the actual answer, I'm going to move this into the editor in a bit, and I'll have to set up the checkpoints and stuff like that. It'd be easier to draw a track using a large brush size to set the width of the track, or would it be easier? It would be, but some places it should be different widths. So I prefer to do it this way. It's a little bit more wiggly. I mean, and the whole game's kind of supposed to have a more for fun aesthetic, so the wiggliness of drawing both sides works out fine. And then I patch over it with the artwork stamps later, so it's not as visible later on. Yes, it is a beautiful duck. All right, so the next step here, we've got our duck, our track. So we need a new layer, and this will be the extras. So I'm gonna have to pull up some references here. I'm gonna go maps. No, wait, let's do Frosty Iceberg should be a good reference, I think. So we have this thing, which is all the different things on the road. Let's do the ramps first. So we can use this as a reference a bit. So where's the longest jump in here? Actually, we don't really have one. I'm gonna pull up Sandy Oasis because this jump near the bottom is more similar to the duck we've got here. You know, this track wasn't supposed to be complicated. I guess it still isn't complicated. There's a lot of straight sections, not too many turns until you get to the feet, but there's some shortcuts that make it more complicated. But this is more complicated than I was originally intending. All right, so speed boost everywhere. Yeah, here we go. This is the color that I need for this ramp, which I will have to draw because otherwise I will not be able to see the ramp where the ramps are. All right, so the ramp is gonna have to be right here. I can rotate this thing. Oh, are you kidding me? It doesn't want to go straight. What is that? Hold on, there's a thing. Where is it? Rotate. There we go, that'll do it. Take this exact one. That should hopefully go far enough. Actually, let's measure the distance here. So we've got our little thing here. We'll do from here to here, which is 409 pixels of a jump. What is the one on Sandy Oasis? It's probably like 300, I bet you. Sandy Oasis is not, actually no, this is the actual terrain. This is more important. Sandy Oasis is a much more, oh, maybe not, we'll see. Oh, it's about the same jump. Okay, so I think it might actually make it. So that's the big one. Now we need some normal sized ones. So let's go over here and find more references. That one goes over a little lake in the middle. This is this one right here is a good reference, I think. So the value, like the brightness of the red is how strong the ramp is gonna be, essentially. I think transparent. Ooh, that's weird. I don't like that. There we go. So that's the color I need. I'm not actually going to use that one. I'm just going to go whoop, and that will be that. Just remove that one. All right, and then we need. I'm just gonna put the one big ramp at the end here. And this one should not be quite. How did this one get moved? I forgot Sprite's silly. Watch this. I hate that. Why does it do that? So I think what I have to do actually, which is really dumb, is delete it and put it back. I don't know why it makes me do that. I think there's probably some way to get it to just move properly. I'm not sure how, so. All right. Anyways, so this is a good reference, I think. Actually, no, I'm gonna take from here and turn this one down. So let's put this one over here. Let's see what the color is, and then we'll turn it down. So we're at 140. Let's tone this down to like 100. And then we can put our little thing right there. And then that will be our ramp. And now the final question is, do we want any speed boosts anywhere? And I'm thinking maybe we want one either here or here. Actually, I'm feeling like right here on the butt. This will be we'll put a speed boost on the butt. That sounds good. All right, so let's go grab a speed boost from here. We'll copy that color. And so this one's gonna have to be, actually wait, you know what? I don't wanna put it on the butt because then it's gonna be at a weird angle, which is annoying for the artwork. So let's just put it up here. And I'm thinking, this is a decent shortcut. So I'm thinking I'm actually gonna put it up here so that you only get the speed boost or it's hard to get the speed boost if you wanna go down. Right, like that. All right, so we'll have that speed boost there. And I think that's all we need for, almost all we need for now. So I need one more layer. And this one, I will take, actually I can do it just by reference. I need to be able to see where these ramps are because they'll turn invisible. Oh, and the other thing is that I think, how do I do oh, they don't show up on the track. It's interesting. Guess I converted from the extras. Do I? Wait. Oh no, I do pure yellow. That's how it works, right? So I have to go into here and say RGB 255, 255, and actually, let's delete this one. How do I delete this? Delete layer. And we want to duplicate this one. And this will be our layer 4. And then is a duplication of the extras. We're gonna just go to all the green ones, which is just that, and color it yellow. And then over here, we have to do a little bit of, here, let me just hide that. I'm gonna remove these, but then draw over them with our reference of the floor. So these are the colors we use, or I use. I'm gonna take those. Let's go over to here. The way this works is pretty simple. Just draw that shape and that color. Then we just carve a little bit out. Just round it a little bit. Then you grab this color, you do the diagonals, you go up like a little bit here. One, two, three, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we connect these down to here. And then you fill that in, and you do this, and you do that. And then you remove one of these pixels. And you've got yourselves one of the actual ramps. So now I can take this one and we can put it over here. Actually at the front side really, so I can just put it like right here and no one's gonna notice really. The hitbox doesn't quite match. Anyways, so now I can just copy this down, make it thick boy or a long boy. And then we have a couple more. So for these one, or no, just one more. It's another long boy. I'm gonna take this one actually. Take him, edit, rotate, 90 degrees, boom. Oh, this one's wide. Wait, let's move it up. Oh, no, don't do that. Edit, rotate, 90. Can't move it after I place it or you get that weird thing. All right, copy that, move it that way. All right, that looks good. So this is gonna be the start of the overlay. So now when I export this, I can take this and this will be our floor. Export as, and we'll go into images, I think maps, sunny circuit. We'll call this floor.png is the correct term. Then you uncheck that one and this is our terrain. Export as, and we'll call this one terrain, I believe is what it's supposed to be called. Save, export, yes. And then the last step is the extras. File, export, export as, and then this is the extras.png. Yep. And that will be the core files we need for that. Let's go ahead and close all these other random MS Paint things I've got open. So yeah, we see the reference here. We've got our banner, extras, floor, terrain. So the next thing is the banner. But I do have to use the restroom real quick, so I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So are these tracks and stuff are designed based on their colors in the code? Yes, that's how it works. That's just the easiest way to do it. So yeah, we need to do the banner next. So for that, we just go over to Sketch, MS Paint time. So it's the easiest way to do this. I'm gonna take this one. This is the simplest one. I have to do another one with like a blue sky. Alright, I'm gonna get rid of these colors. Just trying to give us the shape that we need. And then we can start drawing. I'm gonna duplicate this first so I don't have to do this the next time. So you just take this. And alright. So for this one, I think I need to do something to distinguish it as having an asphalt road, maybe. You know what would be cool that I can't actually do? I can do those banners that they have that go over the finish line. I can actually do that. Because I can just make a block that doesn't have anything, like that has a lot of space below it, that's just empty. And then have it with physics turned off. And then boom, we've got our banner thing for the finish line. But the reason I'm thinking about that is because I want to have something that makes it look like an actual normal racetrack. So it's gonna start out flat. Yeah, shouldn't be hilly like Moo Moo. So we want to make it like flat like that, and then need our sky, and then we need the road on it. So we just make a winding path. Yeah, I'm just making a little road here. There we go. So we got our road. Let's put a finish line thingy maybe at the end over here. So we could do that in the form of like some white poles. They go up like that. And then we could have like a little gray thing that goes down like that. With the varying colors on it. This can be grayed at the base. And we want the want this to have some different colors in it as well. Just for some variance. There we go. Got that. And then what if we lined the road? Well, let's start with this thing. This should be like a checkered pattern. I don't want to do that. I would like the finish line to appear checkered, but it's hard to do that properly. I guess that's good enough. So that'll be our finish line, and then we can put some cars on it maybe. So let's put a little car. Right there. And we can do like a green car, or what other colors do we have to work with? Let's just do 2 red ones. And needs a windshield. And just like That's good enough, I guess. I need a darker red. So those are the cars. And then we need to make the grass a little bit more interesting. And then we can add some trees. And then do the sky, but trees first. We only have palm trees so far, it's funny. So the trees are going to be a little bit scarce on this map, actually. I want the trees to be darker. And take like this color. There we go, I like that. Some Minecraft looking tree. Gonna try and avoid that. Where is the darker brown? Is that darker? No, it's the same color. Need that one. Then I can like shade it a little bit, and then we can put some lighter leaf colors on. And yeah, there we go. Trees. Now that we have our trees, oh, first of all, let's fix this. The way this is looking is, the way it's not connecting with the road is a little bit funky. All right. Now, next step, I kind of want some bushes. So I could do like a woo. Actually, it's hard to tell with that. Let's do one right here. And then we can put like some berries in them. They look kind of like eyes, which is why you need more. Let's change the colors a little bit. And then next step is the sky, which I have a very distinct pattern for. Just run it down like that. Do I have clouds on? No, I don't. Okay. So close. All right. And then we'll do like one more right here. And there we go. We've got our little artwork for the track. Could move this car down a little bit. That's what I'm thinking. Move him down. And then what else we want in there? Could put more stuff, but I think we're mostly good. I could put some like fences, kind of like a moo. So you just go and you do, oh, it's got to be offset by 1 from the end gate, or it will go crazy. Just need one. It's got to be 1 more tall, and do these colors, and then you connect them. There we go. I like that. That is the new tracks thing. You can actually see the asphalt on it. That is the main characteristic. It might be the best looking one so far, I'm not sure. Alright, so we can go ahead and go into map banners. It's gotta go here. So zoom in, boop. And we can do a file save as. This is the images from my last video. Pixkartz data images map banners, and then this one will be Sunny Circuit. Alright, so there's Sunny Circuit, and now I can actually take this, go into, where is it? Maps. Normally you have the banner.png, so Sunny Circuit needs that. Banner.png, it appears in 2 places. I don't remember why, it's annoying. And then the last step, or a couple more steps here. So Frosty, Iceberg, search for that in the code. What is this? Oh, Sunny. It's gotta be Sunny Circuit. This is what tells the editor which thing I'm editing. Let's put. Oh, we'll put it at the end. Actually, no. I want to reorder my maps here. So we'll do Sunny Circuit first. That's the circuit map. What's a good second map? I don't want it to be Sunny Circuit and Moo because they're too similar. I think Sandy Oasis. It's difficult, but I like it as the second map just to space out the green maps. And then we can throw in like Ghoul Pit. That will go here. And we can have BC3, Pirate Bay, Frosty, Iceberg, which we'll put. I think BC3 should just go last. That's the lava one. That's the new ordering. Alright, so Sunny Circuit is Sunny Circuit. And I think that's most of what we need. Oh, liquid colors. This is the water. So we can just copy from Pirate Bay and say that's going to be Sunny Circuit. And Sunny Circuit's going to have no haze because it's sunny. There we go. All right. Next step, boot up the editor. Hello. There we go. So all we got to do, oh, you know, something I forgot. We have to do the starting line because I do not have that. So that's going to be Sunny Circuit, and I will have to copy this from another one. So BC3 is normally where I copy this from. You go floor, and then I just got to grab this thingy. All right, so once I've got that, I can go over here, and I gotta go on this 4th layer here, and we can put this. And we talked about this. This has to be down here. And it makes sense to put it like maybe right on there, or here, right there. That's good. Right, need that, just so we know where the track's supposed to begin. So we need to remove those, export as non-extras. This has got to be the floor. Yes, yes. There we go. And now I can boot this up again. We can actually see where the race is supposed to start, because that is important. We got to place the item boxes and do all sorts of other stuff. All right, so item boxes first. I won't worry about the fences just yet. I'll save that for the decorating. I don't want you to hit the item boxes as you're jumping across here, so I'm going to put them up here. So they're going to go like right here. Lots of them. And then we'll have more right around here. And then I need to make, there's a folder I have to make, or this is going to crash as soon as I save it. I have to make the folder here. Did I? Oh no, data, maps, and there has to be Sunny Circuit here. It's going to crash. I think that happened last time and lost a lot of stuff. All right, so you go through here. That's just like a long straight section. Let's have like one more set of items before you hit that. It's gonna be a little bit chaotic. All right, and then you come around the corner here, and right where they rejoin, we should probably have more items. And you go around the foot. And then maybe there should be some more right here. And you come up this way and you're at the finish line. All right, so like that, I'm gonna hit O, make sure that works. That stuff's there, that's a good sign. Hit C, we're switching to checkpoint mode. First checkpoint's gonna be right on the finish line. I think that's how it knows where the race ends. And you just go straight up. Oh wait, I'm trying to remember. There's some weird stuff I have to do so that you can't, I forgot about this. You have to, or I have to, drop a lot of checkpoints right in here in particular, or you're gonna get some weird results from people being able to take shortcuts where they shouldn't be able to. All right. So we go around this way, and the way this has to work is that when you hit the water, it needs to be able to know which way to spawn you. So ideally, if you hit it from this side, you should come back to here, and it's based on distance. So I think I put one right here, because you have to be closer to this checkpoint than these ones. It's like here's closer to here, but then if you hit it from here, that's going to be closer to here or here. Now what would be bad is if you hit it right here and it went left instead of right and put you over here instead of back here. So that's what I have to be careful about. So I gotta do the same thing over here. This one's a bit wider, so there's a little more margin for error that I can have. So you hit here, it'll put you back over here. Yep, and hit here, it goes there, makes sense. Now the tricky thing is there will be a trick, where if you have a friend who sits right here and you hit him to make yourself go flying up, you can hop over this water or hop high enough that it puts you over to this checkpoint. So there's a little bit of a shortcut there you could technically take that I have to be careful about. I might have to change the bumping physics to account for that. But the rest of this track's pretty easy to do the checkpoints for. If I ever wanted AI to race the track, they just gotta follow the checkpoints, and it's pretty easy. That's pretty much what happens with the rocket things. They just follow the checkpoints, so it's kind of like an AI racing a car. All right. So that should be, I think, what I need. Hit O, that'll save. Our checkpoints populate, and I just have to change new to blocks. Maps. Okay, let's see if this is working. So first step is to restart the server. Oh, that was dumb. I killed my avatar. That's not the server. Oopsie. Hang on. You get to watch me adjust my avatar. It's about there or something. Yep. That's the issue with having them in the same terminal. This is the one I gotta kill. Alright, so let's start up Pixkartz here. You can hear that. Let's mute that. Send him over into the lobby. Start up this one. Play. Alright, let's do it on the fish. So here are our tracks. We got our Sunny Circuit. You got Sandy Oasis, Bok Bok, Ghoul Pit, Pirate Bay, Frosty, Iceberg, Lava Castle. The text is a little bit hard to read. I'm not sure if I'll change something about that. There's some stuff, I have some options to deal with that. I might also just move the text to the left or something. No, because on the left, there's the second row of players that go right here. That's the tricky part with this, is that... Oh, maybe I can make the text partially transparent or something until you select it. It gives you feedback for which one you're hovering, and then it also lets you see the artwork more. Should be nice. Anyways, so I'll select Sunny Circuit. And you can also see this thing right here. That looks nice. All right, here it is. It is very lacking in artwork, but we have our duck, and the eye shows up on the mini-map. This is very obviously a duck. So I'm gonna go around one time without the shortcuts, and then one time with the shortcuts to make sure everything's working. Well, actually the first step is to make sure that the water puts you in the right spot. So first of all, if you do this, this should not be a shortcut, and I don't believe it is. And then if I hit here, it puts me back in over here. So it works on both sides. So it puts you in the correct spot. That's why the spacing on the checkpoints was important. And actually you can see in normal Mario Kart like Wii where they mess up their checkpoints and their shortcuts because of that, like Grumble Volcano and the lap loop thing. Ooh, here we go. So this is a little bit of a straight section. There's that speed boost right there. This is the wide turn for the tail. This is a very wide road. It thins up a little bit on the feet. But there's gonna be like a little, this is gonna be asphalt, I'm gonna put a little line down the middle as if it's like a two-way road almost, or something, I don't know. Here's the second bridge. Alright, so let's check out the shortcuts here. Oh, I do gotta check this too. And that put me in the middle, that's good. So the first shortcut's this one right here. It's easier if you have a speed boost for that. If you're going at that fast, at full speed, you'll make that jump, I think. So that's good. And then, so the other one is if I turn right about here. Oh, there it is. So you're gonna go down these things, but you need to have the purple boost if you want to not just drive through a ton of grass. And then you can jump over the river here and then get back onto the track. Why did it? Oh, I think if you have to hit that at full speed to not get slowed down by the grass at the end. Which is fine. you should have purple boost anyways if you're going through there. If you choose a car that's better off-roaded, you can also do that. I think the blue bug can basically just drive through the grass. I kind of want to check that. But that's kind of hard to do. If I do another full lap, I can reselect the map and then switch my cart. Because if I leave the server running on this, it doesn't let me choose my car. It just makes me the red one immediately. I need to change that, both for my testing and just for the user experience. So yeah, I'm gonna finish this lap here. This is gonna be the easiest track. But yeah, next stream is, well, no, next stream I'm probably gonna do Froggo's Adventure, but after that I'm gonna, I don't know if Froggo Verdant Venture? Or is it Froggo's Verdant Venture? But then after that I'm gonna do another week of Pixkartz where I'll start working on the artwork for this one, which should be easier than IAC Iceberg. There will be nothing on the road, like no hazards. There will be, you'll use a lot of the assets that I already have, and then I might be able to get this track done in one stream, really. We'll see. Or one more stream, so 2 streams total. So let's go ahead and check this out on the blue bug. So this thing has insane acceleration, and the way this works is that the acceleration turns into your off-road speed, essentially. I need to change the way the off-road stuff works. Alright, so what happens when I just like... Yeah, that doesn't like... That might be a shortcut with... Like you can just drive through on this thing. The off-road portion of this vehicle will definitely be nerfed. It still slows you down a fair bit, but it's not nearly as bad as the other stuff. Yeah, see, I can get straight back onto the road on this one. And it might actually be faster right now than going around the tail. But overall, I like the track. I feel like visually the road's a little bit wide, but if you have enough players, it's good to have like one medium length track that's got a wide road, so that when you've got like 24 players, you can have something that's not too chaotic. Because that's another difference, is that in Mario Kart you get like 12 or whatever. This can do 24. I think that's the cap I set it to. Anyways, I will just, where's the, wait a second, did that do what I think that did? I might have to move the finish line. Hang on. Was I on my second lap? Or was that a lap skip? Oh no, it counted correctly. I was worried if you like go to that side enough, you can do a lap skip. Maybe I had ducks. Maybe I could add them in the water or something. That would be funny. Put a potato with my face since I'm a fluffy potato. The issue is that's hard to do and make it look good and engaging. I could do the transparent thing, but when it selects, it separates vertically and put the title on top. I thought about that too, but there's not much space to do that with. I could shift all the other ones, but then it's a bit trippy. Especially, I don't think I'm gonna do mouse controls, but if I did, that would be really annoying. Is it still worth it to get a computer science degree or not, since your passion and dream job is in programming? Wait, or is it oversaturated or replaced by AI? The issue is we don't know yet, or if that will ever happen, and or how fast. So, I mean, you can't really plan around that. Like I mentioned before in this stream, people probably did not expect that one of the first things to get replaced would be stock photos. If you asked someone from like 5 years ago. So you can't really plan for this stuff unless it's already replaced, which is not the case for most things. Because all it takes is just a couple of things that the AI can't do, and then your job is to use the AI and instead of just not having one. But if the barrier to entry gets lower, then your salary may go down. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily take AI into account much when you're picking your job, unless, like, for example, like I said, if you're doing stock photography, maybe don't. I think, well, there still will be use for stock photography, but I think it'll be a smaller industry because a lot of the mid-level use cases will just be replaced with AI. Do I have a chunking system in my level editor? I don't need one. I just do tile lookups from a tile to tile perspective. Is my noise seamless or not? I think so. Yeah. Yes, the car was a fish. No penguins. Maybe I had ducks. Oh, yeah, I already read that. Oh yes, this is a fake live stream. Totally. But yeah, I like I said at the beginning, I want to rework my stream setup, so hopefully I'll have the chat on the stream soon. I don't know if I'll have it next week, but we'll see. There's other things I want to work on first for it, but yeah. I had some serious bugs that I had to deal with for my last chat thing. It kept crashing. Yeah, you see, the problem is that clearly you're not real. No one knows that you exist. Or I'm shunning you, obviously. Is it 2D or 3D? This is a mix. It's sprite stacking. Yeah. Why don't I use Linux? I mentioned this in the last stream, but there's random small things that only run on Windows that every now and then I need to use. And then also with game development, it's useful to be developing on the platform that your primary audience is on, so that you catch most of the bugs that are specific to that platform. So yeah, that's nice. You also heard that it's oversaturated. That's why you wanted to ask about it, and also about software developing. Yeah, so web development might be oversaturated. I don't know. Well, no, I don't feel like it, because if it really is oversaturated, then it would be kind of impossible to get a job, or the wages would be super low. So think of like, what's a good example? Okay, acting, for example. That one is oversaturated. So I think the beginner pay, like when you're getting into the industry, is very low. It's very hard to get into to begin with. You probably got to do a lot of free labor, oftentimes. So that's an example of something that's oversaturated. So software is not like that at the moment, but it could get there at some point, but we're not there yet. So I do think that maybe the amount of people entering the industry surpasses the amount. Look, if you put that over the span of a full lifetime, it may be oversaturated at some point. I don't think we're there yet, because I mean, there's so many people that want to get into it just because, you know, like, kids that grew up playing video games want to learn the code and stuff like that. Makes sense. But because there's a lot of demand for software to begin with, and then there aren't very many people that have been in the industry for decades, so there's a lot of catching up to do there. So I think there's still a fair bit of demand. Now, if you're looking like 20 years down the road, when people have been getting CS degrees at a high rate for 30 years, then maybe things might be oversaturated by then. I don't know. But by then, you could have probably already made your money, I feel like. So it's far enough out that I don't think that's too much of a concern. Now, things could change and the demand could change for various reasons, but we'll see. It's hard to see. You can't really make assumptions on that. How to start making game coding first or making art? So if you're asking just general procedures and how I make games like for Game Jam, you can look at my time lapses, and let's make the duck bigger. So yeah, you can look at my time lapses. I think normally I start with the art on my Game Jam stuff, because I think that's just how I approach it. Most people do not do that. They like to prototype, get the gameplay down first, and then have placeholder artwork that they replace. That is the normal way that people do it. So I'm unusual in that I do the artwork first, but that's because I have usually a clear picture in my head of the game design, and I don't think I'll have to change it too much from what I have in my head. So I can start with the art first. That way I don't have to mess with placeholder artwork or anything like that, and it saves some time in the long run. And then for me, actually, I think that the harder thing to nail down is the art style. I find it harder to nail down the art style than the game mechanics. So that's why I like to do the art first. So I can get that. That's the big hump, is getting over the art style, and then it saves some time to do it that order. So that's just why I do it that way. But it's a preference thing. If you're actually working in the industry, I think you'll find that people start with the gameplay. And to be fair, my specialty for a while was the art side of things, where like in Game Jams, my top ranking would be in graphics. So I usually in Game Jams put the graphics before the gameplay oftentimes, and I was thinking a lot about the aesthetics of a game design more than the gameplay, which works well in Game Jams because you want simple gameplay. You don't if you want mass appeal, because as soon as you start adding too much complexity, people are going to get confused. People are going to give you bad ratings because they're too lazy to figure out how the game works. And actually, in that sense, when you're making a game to sell and when you're making a game for a Game Jam are very different game design-wise. Not just because of the scope, but because the audience is oftentimes just playing the game to rate games. They essentially don't want to be there. So you don't want to make a game too difficult in Game Jams oftentimes, which is actually something that I've done a lot of. And I'll oftentimes make very difficult Game Jam games, but the way I'll do it is it'll be that it kind of ramps up or something like that and gets difficult quickly. So they're not missing the content, and they can tell they're not missing the content because they're having a hard time with the game. I have had games where they are missing content because it's difficult, and then that's where you get bad ratings. So yeah, a lot of the way I do game development is based on things that I've picked up from doing Game Jams, which is both good and bad. Well, Moon Rabbit Collection was a 48-hour time span, but it was actually, I think if you look, like 10 hours of work or something. It didn't take long. The trick there was that I had my game engine thing, which saved me a lot of time. So it was pretty much just get the artwork and connect a couple things in the code, and I'm done. And well, I also had to make the dialogue system, but that was pretty much it. It wasn't very complicated. Will there be more bot types? I'm not sure. We're talking about with bots. Oh wait, you're talking about for Yawnoc. Yawnoc, there will be, yeah, definitely more machines. The way I want to expand on it, and I was actually working this out yesterday, is that I want to mix in other types of cellular automata. So Conway's Game of Life is a really simple one. There's a lot more motion in things that are, I guess, some other cellular automata systems seem a lot more lifelike, and I want to make it so you go to different areas and you deal with different cellular automata for each area as you progress. And then the way the boss waves are going to work is that the way they do right now, where they modify the current rule set to make it more difficult with just some slight changes. And so that's how I'll kind of do the progression. And so you'll progress through different cellular automata. So one of the interesting ones I want to do next is Brian's Brain, and then I also want to do some variation on Smooth Life. So you can get some really cool things, but I will have to do, I think I'll have to move some of the updates to the cellular automata over to the GPU, because if I want to make it really big and do some of the smooth life stuff, I'm gonna need more processing power, I think. And then I think I'll also have to localize some of the AI for the enemies to only shoot at you from a certain distance, because if the area is too big, then it would be a bit crazy. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I also want to do some other stuff, so maybe sneak in some other cellular automata things into other places of the game. Maybe, so in the first area, I want the water to look kind of like it does here. Do the, the Wind Waker water or whatever. But then after that, I might do some cellular automata stuff in the water or whatever liquid there is. And then I also wanted to have like a miasma thing where it's pixel level cellular automata, and this one will definitely have to be in the GPU, where maybe like one of the machine types can put out some miasma that will grow and do cellular automata things and be kind of lifelike. But then you have to deal with that one by shooting at it, so when your bullet goes through it, it'll clear out the miasma or something like that. So it's another hazard you have to deal with that's based on cellular automata that makes you kind of think a bit differently about it. I don't know. There's a lot of fun things that I could do there. Yeah. If you get the degree and get hired, then it's okay with you, since you'll be making money already, and it's just because you're graduating from school soon. Oh, that's just a statement, not a question. Okay. Can we use art packs for coloring? Normally, yes, I think so. There are technically some licenses that people can make where you can't modify them, but I don't think that's normally what people do with art packs. But no, if you're asking if you can use it without attribution or without buying it or whatever, then you can. That's not how that works. It's still considered a derivative, so you can get into legal trouble there. But if you own it and you credit, if they ask for credit at least, then you can do whatever normally. Basically, degree is pointless if you don't have experience in something good. I mean, yes. You should have experience in your field if you have a degree, which hopefully you can get some of while you're in college, which can happen to varying degrees. There are a lot of people that graduate college and then don't have the skills that they need because they were just trying to get by and then have a hard time getting hired. But then there are also people that have the skills and don't have a degree, and there's a lot of companies that just won't hire them because that's their policy. But that's changing pretty fast. Including larger than life. Is that a cellular automata? I've not seen that. I'm gonna look that up. Larger than life cellular automata. Ooh. Let's look at kernel. Oh yeah, so this is it looks kind of like Smooth Life. So this Smooth Life thing, right? Kind of. So the problem with I'll have to definitely play with the rules a bit on some of these because if the scale's too large, then it will be a problem for the Yawnoc gameplay because we've got the machines being the cells, and you have to shoot them. So I'm gonna have to mess with that a bit to try to get the scale down, but still have some of these lifelike patterns. So that's a problem to solve, but I'm pretty sure it can be solved. Worst case scenario, I can make it so that the machines pop up when there's, like, for example, four cells are alive or something in a larger simulation rather than one. So the machine represents 4, or I could do 9 or 16. So there's options there. What does High Life in Yawnoc actually do? It's a modification of the Conway's Game of Life rules. You can look it up. Just search Conway's Game of Life High Life, I think. It is distinct from Conway's Game of Life, but it uses a very similar rule set. Mine is not actually the exact High Life rule set. Mine is based on it, but modified to give even more, I set it up so that it replicates itself more and spreads out more, rather than being necessarily a lifelike system. So more of just an explosion of stuff. What is an automata? You can look it up, cellular automata. Or just look up Conway's Game of Life. I appreciate the explanation of cellular automata. Is it possible to use a cat girl face instead of a normal cat? This is not a cat face. This is a floating head. A cat's face is more long. My face is very flat if I turn sideways. I have no pointed nose. It's a floating head with ears that go up. I guess, is it closer to a bat? Maybe? What's the closest animal to this? Because the bat's ears go up and the nose doesn't stick out too far. I don't know, there's not very many animals that just have like a flat, non-pointed face that have ears that go up. Are there even any? There's gotta be some, I can't think of any right now. Because if you think about it, it's mostly monkeys, humans, apes, and stuff like that that have the flat face. I don't know. Yeah, also it's just loading. I got the weird tendril things. I haven't decided if they're legs or not. The amount of times everyone looks at my games and they'll think that the characters are like cats or something. I think people saw Vagrant and thought that the character was a cat. And actually what I do for a lot of my things is they're actually, if you look at the drawn down abyss thing, it's actually a weird dinosaur with no arms and pointy legs. That's technically what it is, and that's what it is in Yawnoc too. It's a dinosaur bird thing. I'm probably gonna redo the design on that character for the game. There's a turtle thingy. This is a bird, and actually, what I do most is actually birds. But people keep thinking my stuff is cats. It's probably because I give the birds ears. It's probably not helping. Well, I do birds and dinosaur bird things and dinosaurs and frog dinosaur and mushroom. That's a bunny though. That one's fair. I have no cats in any of my games except for the unreleased cave game where you go fishing in caves. I don't even have dogs in any of my games. You can farm crystals and you can go to walk and shoot one. So you can't get away with. I accounted for that in the game design. If you just try to farm the still life of the squares and just farm the corners, it's a bad idea because the difficulty progresses with time, like in Risk of Rain. I haven't added an indicator like in Risk of Rain, but it does, and that actually hurts you in the long run. So you get money faster by clearing waves normally, especially later on. A lot of the money comes from the treasure chests actually. So yeah, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by sitting there trying to farm one corner while the difficulty is going up with time, and you're not making any progress on the levels, and it goes up exponentially, I think, too. So it just doesn't show you that that's what's happening yet. I will change that so you can tell. You like the pistol? Well, most people like the pistol because of the grenade, not because of the pistol. I like the shotgun because it's easy to deal with the centipedes. I really don't like the centipedes, they're just annoying. The only thing missing is the whiskers. Oh, hi, Rug. You came in right at the end of the stream. But yeah, I'll have an indicator that tells you like kind of how difficult it is, like Risk of Rain. And yeah, I have a lot of plans for that. Anyways, that's pretty much everything I wanted to do for this stream. I was just doing the layout of the duck map, Sunny Circuit. And next time will be next time is probably Froggo's Bread Adventure, I think. And then we'll do 2 weeks from now, we'll probably finish off this track, and we will have 7 tracks in Pixkartz. Anyways,